Hello, everyone. I can see everyone joining. We're going to get started soon. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Julia Cairo, and I am the Data Operations Senior Manager for the OPI. I joined the OPI this summer, and I've been in this role since the end of August. And I'm very excited to talk about our data modernization project, and I'm going to speak about it for folks who have never heard of it before, but also a little bit for folks who have heard of it before. So please, we will have questions, time for questions, and I would like to know what they are and answer those questions as we go. And what we're thinking this time is that we will approach this and also call out where we are reducing duplication of efforts, where we are adding solutions built into the system. So instead of having to look up resources, the way we're designing our new systems make it sort of apparent and obvious to the user what to do instead of making it more difficult. And we're also creating and cultivating and enriching our culture of thinking about these things as we go forward and to new development, and to make sure we're always thinking about these aspects. And these are obviously not the only aspects we're thinking of. We are also thinking of security and many of the other important aspects of creating a system like this one. But we want to focus today about some of these other things, which I think will be helpful. Oh, here we go. So what we are building and what PowerSchool is a student information system. And so this is a fun slide. I think I know, is it school software for local data? Is it school software for student data at the state level? And actually it's both. That's true of both. But in this case, we're talking about our state level of student information. So schools have their own, we call it a SIS, Student Information System, and schools have their own, school districts have their own, and they're allowed to use any brand they like. And then they send that data to the OPI, where we run it through our processes and then can combine it with the other student data across the state. Okay. And so this is an overview of the data modernization solution. We have this slide shows all of our data systems here. They're going into the data lake. And then they come out here as these are the products we're creating that can then be used for all kinds of purposes, which we will talk a bit about as we go through. And this is worth noting that this is for K through 12 only. So what kind of data needs are educators experiencing? Our partners at PowerSchool conduct annual surveys of educators, and we asked, they asked, what are your tech priorities, your education tech priorities? And over they said that we need data access and actionable data, right? So data that we can make decisions based on. So 61% providing teachers with actionable data to support students, right? They need it connected across systems, instead of having so many chores and little items we have to do. We want it baked in. We want this to work for our educators so that they are not spending all of their time doing this, right? And achieving a whole child data analytics view, 51%. That's very important. You can tell a lot about what's going on with an individual based on this information. And we have resources for these individuals. And this will help get those resources to those kids if we can identify what they are cleanly and easily. Mhm. So what is it? Data modernization, the what? In 2021, the 2021 legislature appropriated funds for OPI to modernize data systems. One part of the project will eventually replace the GEMS dashboarding tools currently being used. So what that is we have, if you're unfamiliar, online, you can go to our GEMS dashboard and see all kinds of aggregate data about students in Montana. And we are maintaining that here with OPI personnel. And so in future, we will be able to use the PowerSchool platform to create that information, hopefully saving some of that manpower, right? Also, OPI purchased interactive dashboards through PowerSchool to be used by district staff. So while we will have we'll have public-facing dashboards that have aggregate data, we will also have dashboards that district staff can log into and see their information in a unique way. And many of those dashboards will be available to the public, but only where they are de-identified. And de-identified means you can't tell anything about the actual individuals that are making up the data. So you can't identify them by name. You can say there are a certain number of children who are girls and a certain number who are boys, but you can't tell who those people are, right, individually. And this, even though this is a very slight slide, right, we are reducing duplication with this. We are creating in-system solutions and cultivating that culture of thinking ahead about what we're creating, how we want to use this in the future, and what we need, and how we can actually help provide this information that we already have in a unique way to folks who need it. Right? All right. So we have the benefits of data modernization, of course, the data insights to support student success. And now we're talking about who's looking at this. So that would be educators, policymakers, and families, investments and student success. So you can see if a certain area has a certain program that's working well, you can see what kind of impact it's having based on real data, and then make decisions. So if your neighboring town is doing something that you are interested in, they will have real-time data to look at and make decisions with too, as another piece of their decision making. And they can count on it as well. And that helps, we're creating that culture still. It'll save us time. So again, instead of having to keep two systems up, GEMS and a new system, the new system does all the things the new system does, plus it will replace GEMS. And then security, having built-in security that is maintained by the vendor is pretty exciting and will save us a lot of time as well. Analytics and insight platform. So unless you're part of IT or an administrator of data of some kind, Unified Insights will be most likely what people will interact with and see. So across the country, PowerSchool has 14.5 million students' data in this platform. This is used to visualize student learning and growth and address chronic absenteeism. It provides data to the community and offers some really significant early warning and intervention information as well. And of course, college and career readiness, talent or HR related analytics, and supports reading initiatives as well. Okay, here's a true or false. Montana schools can use any student information system they choose. The data will flow into the state's PowerSchool system, even if the local school uses a different brand of SIS. And the answer is true. So we do not decide what schools use. Schools can choose any system they like, and that data is still collected and combined with all the other Montana student data records from across the state. This is a question we get quite a lot is, oh no, do we all have to get new software? You don't. Benefits. So the benefits of this system are apparent and exciting to me. The data security is top notch, and it must be our highest priority. New technology can be leveraged to improve efficiency, and we seek greater efficiency. And our older systems increasingly become more expensive to maintain and also don't have every new thing that we want. And the way our new system is being set up is so that we can add, we can build onto the existing platform that we have begun setting up. And so it's ready for other items and options instead of an older closed system. Supporting students' data, access, and insights are a key ingredient to supporting students' success. Okay. So here's some key insights that drive education modernization. The user interface can be targeted to any kind of stakeholder. So we've talked about some of the stakeholders. So our district staff and teams and educators are one of our stakeholders who would use this. Policymakers and influencers will, interested parties, right, will use this. Families and communities will use this to see how things are going and how improvements can be made. And it's a way that, you know, families and communities can find out more about the school that their children are going to. How is my school performing compared to other schools? You know, what do I need to know, right? And then for the districts and schools, how are we doing compared to our goals, right? So schools have goals that they would like to achieve. How are they doing? Are they reaching those targets? And where are they not reaching the targets? The data will reveal some answers about that as well, which make it possible to meet those targets or adjust them even. Are our students showing growth over time? How can I adjust and personalize instruction for my students? You know, where can we improve? What can we celebrate? What is working? And are we using these resources effectively? You know, when you have a picture, and I will show you one right here, when you have a picture of the data, when you can visualize the data, sometimes the answers seem very apparent just from the picture, right? Because the picture tells the story. And so this is what the primary interface looks like. And I'll just leave that on the screen for a bit so you can look over it. You can see, it's kind of hard to see, it's kind of small, but you can see we have various, you know, ELA pass rate, how our ELA grades distributed by grade level. And these are also all customizable. And so that comes back to having those in-system tools. So if looking at this bar graph isn't really exactly great or doesn't, you would prefer a pie chart, you can absolutely do that. You hit these 3 buttons and you can see every option you have. And also it sort of invites you to click it, right? It doesn't seem scary, right? You can play with the software and it's quite beautiful as well. Okay, so, and then the software comes with pre-built metrics as well as customizable metrics, which is what we are currently also working on. We'll talk about that a little deeper into our conversation here. Okay, and here's another example of the dashboards. You can see right here. And so also I should point out, some of this data is aggregated data that is combined with other data and de-identified so that no one can tell who these individual people are. And that data is publicly available. Some of this data and some of these dashboards that have more identifiable data, they won't be public, but the district staff and personnel that need this information will be able to get it very easily. It's just another way to show kind of how easy it is to navigate. There's, you go to dashboard, essentials, and then here are a list of existing dashboards. It's meant to be conversational, one-stop data shop, easy wayfinding. Okay, and same with filtering, easy to filter. So once you pick those selections on the previous screen, you can see, oh, well, here's what was revealed, right? Here's all of the items that were revealed. But the filter is then used to determine, oh, okay, well, we can do it by the school, by the grade, by the staff member, right? We can filter down to drill down into those deeper questions, right? Okay, and so longitudinal analysis, this was extremely important. We have been asked and our field demands that we keep longitudinal data so we can track progress and see what is working, what isn't working, what our outcomes are like, what could have contributed to make those good outcomes great, and well, what could we do differently? And so this shows the longitudinal, you can compare year on year. So this is 2013, 2014, 2014, 2015, 2015, 2016, right? And this is the passing rate by grade. So you can really get a visual immediately to see exactly, what is going on there. Each visualization, as I said earlier, is drillable to the student or school level, assuming appropriate permission. So that is if this, not the public, but those staff members who need that information will absolutely be able to get it. And they'll be able to get it right in their system without a lot of difficulty. That's the main thing. This is super easy to interact with. Okay, and then to show a bit of the data modernization timeline, we have it broken out in phases, and we're working on phases 2 through 5 almost at the same time. This is one of the ways we're also cultivating that culture of getting done what we can in the ways that we can. And so here you can see these items were completed. And we're mostly concentrating on phase 3 right now. But here's a more detailed look at the work within the phases and milestones. And you can see these are completed and these are in progress and some are not started, right? But you can see what's on the horizon because of how it is laid out. Okay. And you can see here, we've jumped to phase 4 because we can set up these VPNs and have them ready for when the phases 3 through 4 are completed. So even though it's in phase 5, we can go ahead and do that. And we are. We have gotten 1 completed and 2 are in the works now. I thought it would be good to share some current project highlights from the year so you can get a feeling for what the work is like that we are doing here. So some of the activities, just at a very high level. So we are participating in ongoing data replication from Infinite Campus to Power Schools Connected Intelligence. And Infinite Campus is also a state program that collects data, and that data feeds into the Power School Connected Intelligence. We continue to meet with the steering committee of key district staff and receive valuable feedback on the project and data collections. But of course, we've delivered our most recent legislative report at the end of October, and that's available on our website. If you want to look at any of these things in detail, any of the items, any of the milestones, there are reports, meeting reports, and overall summary reports on the website that I'll share with you before we end. Yes, and we participate in the Education and Workforce Data Governing Committee, and there are 3 separate working groups that we participate there. And we are working with the remaining districts that use self-hosted PowerSchool to set up those VPN connections that I talked about. And analysis is in progress for the additional modules of analytics and insights, which is student readiness, risk analysis, and community engagement. We are identifying and testing possible security solutions for school user access. So we have quite a lot of options. And so instead of just taking the first easy one, we're making sure we're getting the most we possibly can for our system. The data is populating in the dashboards now, and we are moving into dashboard fitting and quality assurance. And so we've got some meetings scheduled to go through, not just with the IT and technical data staff, but with our program staff who know what our folks in the field need to see. And so they will help us fit those dashboards to work for Montana the best that they can. Okay, and we do have GEMS data loaded into community engagement, which is exciting. And we can't show it yet, but we're on the horizon. We're very close. Assessment data is being loaded into the dashboards as well. And and we have on our websites a series of data modernization videos, which is pretty exciting. We used a very modern AI presenter instead of an OPI staff member to do those videos. And so we thought that would be kind of a nice way to capture the attention of the listener is we're doing data modernization, even our informational videos are going to seem modern and have an AI presenter. And we have scheduled PowerSchool training, and we have completed some PowerSchool training for our targeting our technical users for our support staff who will be answering those questions and making sure that things are running the way we expect them to. And we're continuing to identify and test possible security. Oh, oops, I think we're continuing to test possible additional data sources for school user access, not school, but for schools and for analytics and insight systems. Sorry about that. Okay. So if you want to check out our website, you can take a picture or hold your your phone up to this, and then when a link will appear that you tap, and it'll take you right to our website so that you can dig deeper into our documentation and see what we've got going on there. Does anyone have any questions? Well, I'm excited to tell you that we will be doing another one of these. I think our next presentation will have a little more to show, including maybe some live demonstration of some of our dashboards that are completed. And I'm very excited to show you what we're working on, and I'm open to questions anytime. If you think of questions later, please don't hesitate to reach out. I will put my email in the chat. You can reach out anytime. And if I don't know the answer to your question, I will find it, and we will get there. And also the questions many times do inspire development. So we want to know what you think, and are always looking to improve our development. And so thank you for participating today. Please reach out. I'm interested in what you have to say. Okay, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and close. Thank you so much again. This is my first time doing this, and I appreciate your kindness and support. Have a good one.